Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight in our news.
The Frank Smith case heads to the Court of Appeal.
The Minister of Health discusses plans to solve a bed shortage at the Princess Margaret Hospital.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Jared Higgs. Topping news tonight, as government and Obon Energy's officials met today to begin negotiations for a new heads of agreement, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis said his administration is committed to conducting proper investigations to ensure they arrive at a deal that protects the environment and is in the best interest of Bahamians. This as Opposition Leader Philip Davis called on the Minnis administration to make public its proposed amendments to the controversial Obon deal. Jillian Gray reports.
In the wake of a meeting between the government and Obon Energy's executives this morning, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis said officials are still conducting studies to ensure that what's contained in an amended heads of agreement would be beneficial to the Bahamas.
We would still be doing and assessing what is best in the interest of the Bahamas, ensure that we do all the proper investigation, ensure environmental impact studies, ensure that our environment is protected. Whatever is in the best interest of the Bahamas will be done.
Labour Minister Dion Folks confirmed on Sunday that the government has submitted its proposed amendments to its heads of agreement with Obon Energies for a $5.5 billion oil refinery and storage facility in East Grand Bahama. Folks also confirmed that government would meet with Obon officials this morning at the Ministry of Labour at Charlotte House. Progressive Liberal Party leader Philip Brave Davis urged the Minnis administration to make those proposed amendments public.
I would have thought that they should be made public as soon as possible.
Davis said he isn't too confident in the government's team and its ability to rework the controversial deal.
I'm concerned about the negotiating skills of this government and the persons they may appoint to negotiate on their behalf. The record has been dismal, and I suspect that if they have in fact moved to suggest amendments to this agreement, that those amendments, I trust, august to the benefit of the Bahamian people.
In February 2018, the government signed the heads of agreement but later committed to reviewing it amid public furor. The government was originally expected to submit its proposed amendments to Obon on February 7th, according to Folks. However, on February 19th, the minister said a computer glitch prevented the submission of the amendments. The government's agreement with Obon was signed without an environmental impact assessment in place, which has garnered a lot of public criticism. Reporting for our news, I'm Jillian Gray.
Late transcripts related to the bribery and extortion trial of former PLP Senator Frank Smith have delayed the Office of the Attorney General's appeal of the Chief Magistrate's decision to toss Smith's case last month. Smith attorneys vigorously objected to this delay. Jasmine Brown reports.
Smith appeared to be in good spirits as he arrived at court with his legal team and more than a dozen family members and supporters, many of them well-known members of the PLP, including party leader Philip Brave Davis. Leading the team from the Attorney General's office was Director of Public Prosecutions Garvin Gaskin. However, plans for substantive arguments in the appeal were quickly derailed just seconds into the start of the hearing after Gaskin told Court of Appeal Justices John Isaacs, Roy Jones, and Stella Crane Scott that he was not prepared to proceed. The reason, according to Gaskin, his team had not received a copy of the transcripts from Smith's trial in the magistrate's court. Justice Isaacs responded by saying the Court of Appeal received those transcripts on Friday. The Office of the Attorney General filed an appeal on February 4th. Smith, the former chairman of the Public Hospitals Authority, was accused of demanding and receiving $60,000 from Barbara Hanna from 2016 to 2017 after allegedly helping her company win the contract to clean the critical care block of Princess Margaret Hospital. In her ruling on February 1st, Chief Magistrate Joanne Ferguson Pratt said there was not a scintilla of evidence to support the fact that there was a meeting between Barbara Hanna and the accused prior to the award of the contract. The ruling came after Smith's attorneys made a no-case submission. Prosecutors listed 6 grounds for the appeal. They said the magistrate's decision was unreasonable or could not be supported having regard to evidence. Smith's attorney Damian Gomez QC argued that Gaskin and his team were not following the Court of Appeal Act, as he said they did not particularize the manner in which the AG's office says the chief magistrate erred in her judgment. Gomez and fellow defense attorney Keith Knight QC also objected to the matter being adjourned to a later date. Knight told the court he was disappointed as he came prepared to argue. However, Justice Isaac said the matter would be adjourned.
Now, following today's brief hearing, attorneys for both sides as well as Smith will appear back in court on May 14th. Reporting from just outside the Court of Appeal for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
A former urban renewal deputy director accused of defrauding government's small homes repair program out of $1.2 million was back in court today. During today's proceedings, 50-year-old Michelle Reckley and her 5 co-accused learned which magistrate would hear their matter. Magistrate Ambrose Ambrister will hear the 41 charges leveled against Reckley and her co-accused, 28-year-old Stephanie Colley, 26-year-old Kylon Vincent, 49-year-old James Hall, 57-year-old Christopher Simonet, and 40-year-old Joseph Lightbourne. The change was revealed by Chief Magistrate Joanne Ferguson Pratt at a status hearing on Monday afternoon. Ferguson Pratt told the court that she spoke to several of her colleagues about presiding over the case. However, 1 or 2 were not minded to adjudicate on it. As family, friends, and supporters, including former Prime Minister Perry Christie, looked on, Ferguson Pratt went on to advise the attorneys involved in the case that it would be wise to determine a 2-week block where all parties would be available for trial. The Chief Magistrate says these matters weigh heavily on the defendants, and with 2 attorneys being based out of Grand Bahama, a firm 2-week block for the matter to be heard is advisable. As for the attorneys in the matter, Anthony McKinney, QC, who represents Christopher Simonet, informed the court that he sent a lengthy letter to Prosecutor Ucal Barnaby on March 12th and that he was hoping for an interim reply before the parties appear before Magistrate Ambrister. After Prosecutor Barnaby advised the court that only some documents related to the case would be delivered to the defense before the parties go before Ambrister, attorney Carlson Sherland, who appeared on behalf of Reckley, Vincent, and Colley, urged the Crown to make haste as he'd like to have the disclosure sooner rather than later. As the parties mulled over a potential 2-week block for trial, attorney Simeon Brown, who appears on behalf of Hall and Lightbourne, insisted that he would need ample time to review the prosecution submissions, which he expects to feature lengthy accounting documents. The parties considered dates at the end of June, July, and August, with Ferguson Pratt insisting that the summer months are difficult as police witnesses may be on summer vacation. Despite the lawyers suggesting tentative timeframes, a date for trial won't be pinned down until Ambrister takes charge of the matter. Reckley and her co-accused face a total of 41 charges at their February 13th arraignment. It is alleged that between December 25th, 2016 and April 25th, 2017, Reckley and Hall obtained payments totaling $1,255,637.84 from the government for contracts issued to James Hall, trading as distinctive builders under the government's small homes repair program in the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew. During the arraignment, attorney Simeon Brown told the court that we have a minister of the government as a chief witness. This has all the characteristics of a political prosecution. The matter was adjourned to March 29th, when all sides will make their first appearances before Magistrate Ambrose Ambrister. A 19-year-old Jamaican national was charged in the magistrate's court on 3 counts of false pretenses. Siobhan Montague appeared before Magistrate Cara Turnquest on 1 count of practicing as a dentist, 1 count of advertising as a dentist, and 1 count of possession or control of dentist appliances, equipment, or supplies. It is alleged that between October 28, 2018 and March 13, 2019, Montague, knowing that he was not registered as a dentist in the Bahamas, advertised and practiced as a dentist and had in his possession dental appliances, equipment, or supplies without proper authority. Montague pleaded not guilty to all charges and was remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections until Thursday, March 21st. His attorney, Keith Seymour, requested bail, noting that Montague is married to a Bahamian. Turnquest said they must confirm with the Department of Immigration his official status before that can happen. Amid reports that 2 cabinet ministers and a Free National Movement member of Parliament failed to meet the March 1st public disclosure deadline, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis is defending them, insisting the 3 MPs wrote to the Public Disclosure Commission requesting more time.
3 members of Parliament had written the Commission asking for extension. That was granted. In spite of that, some would have presented their papers even before the expiration of the granted time.
The Tribune reported that Social Services Minister Frankie Campbell has disclosed since missing the deadline. West Grand Bahama and Bimini MP Pakeisha Parker reportedly received an extension, but she also missed the March 15th deadline she was given. Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar has also reportedly failed to disclose. Early in his term, Minis threatened to forward to the Attorney General the names of those who served as MPs during the last term, but failed to make their financial disclosures by law. However, today, Minis insisted that none of his MPs are outside the compliance guidelines.
My understanding is 2 has already submitted. They have complied with the commission, and the other has been given extension, and the commission has that right to do it.
While the Ministry of Health continues to tackle a number of issues at Princess Margaret Hospital, the issue of addressing a bed shortage is high on the minister's list. Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands admitted today that the state of some beds is deplorable. Georgie Obon reports.
Minister of Health Dr. Dwayne Sands said that his ministry is working hard to solve a 200-bed shortage at the Princess Margaret Hospital. According to Sands, he's hoping to have that problem solved in the next 4 months.
We have embarked on a very aggressive approach to modernize and improve our hospital. If you look at some of the beds that our patients have endured over the last few decades, some of them have been around for a very long time. They have created challenges for the staff because they are difficult to crank and move to adjust positions.
Sands said the bed shortage at the Princess Margaret Hospital is not new, but he hopes to have new bed space created in the upcoming weeks when renovation on 3 of the hospital's wards are completed.
We just spoke to bringing back the male surgical ward, children's ward, and the old intensive care unit back on stream. That will add probably an additional 50, 60 beds, depending on the layout. And that's why I can't give you a definite answer. But those projects they've actually started.
While Sands did not say how much the new beds and hospital upgrades would cost, he did say that it would be a combination of private-public partnerships. Reporting for Our News, I'm Georgie Obon.
Still to come on Our News, the Prime Minister mum on the appointment of a new Chief Justice. Plus, the Health Minister admits the death of a South African woman paints the Bahamas in a negative light. Stay tuned.